Hi, Charlie.
How are you?
How nice to see you.
Very nice to see you.
You caught me at home. Come on in.
Thank you.
Let's go downstairs, have a nice view over the garden, the light is good, and we'll talk watches.
One of the things I like about your collection is it's very focused, and you've bought things that clearly mean something to you and they mark particular occasions.
You know, I'm not a collector of, the kind of real anarchy stuff. I kind of just buy watches that are interesting to me and ones that I can get away with wearing in my working environment. Where I started in the world of watches was we were in Berlin in 1990. The wall had come down and we'd gone in there to record a record called Achtung Baby. It was very, very grim. It was a city in transition. And I just stumbled upon a watch shop. There was this Omega, which dates from the 50s. The date is unusual in this particular model. These lugs, they're a sort of bullhead shape, and this is also a pillow cut.
And the other interesting thing about this watch is it has the bumper movement inside it, doesn't it?
You're absolutely right. There's the bumper movement, which Rolex had kind of patented the revolving automatic movement. So Omega came up with this other system, and you can sort of hear it rattle. Hear that rattle. But the bumper system is really a counterweight that bounces backwards and forwards off a spring, and that creates the energy that then runs the watch. It's a lovely little thing and a great thing to start off with.
There must also be a side of you that could easily go out and buy every new thing from the Basel Watch Fair. How do you manage to keep that impulse under control, or do you not have that unscratchable itch that so many collectors seem to have?
I definitely do have that itch, and I, it starts to heat up a bit when people start to throw words like tourbillon around, and I go, that sounds interesting. This was really before I went into the tour where we had that big claw on the 360. Because everything had got kind of quite big, I wanted a watch that I could take on the road that was worthy of that kind of engineering and technology. And
would you wear this watch on stage?
I generally avoid wearing watches on stage. I kind of feel like that's the last place you need to know what time it is. This watch was based on the Reverso, which was their sort of flagship watch. Polo players were a little troubled by the fact that when they were playing polo, the glass on their watches was getting smashed. And this engineer at Jaeger-LeCoultre came up with this very simple idea, and he said, well, we can just reverse it. So the face of the watch turns round. In this case, you can see the movement, but it just protects the face. It has this really nice kind of Art Deco feel to it. Now this is actually the Squadra. This was a way of them sizing it up to compete with the more blingy, larger watches. A little known fact here is I had a bass guitar made for me, which was the reverse of a guitar that Edge plays all the time. It's a signature guitar of his called an Explorer, and I inverted it and called it the Reverso.
On this tour, have you been travelling around with this box of watches? Or do you take one or two with you?
No, I take one or two. I mean, my wife gave me a Nautilus when we got married. I also take a Moser, which again is a sporty, kind of quite a big watch. I don't have it here. And I normally have a gold watch that I can wear in the evenings if I go out to something. It's hard to wear gold during the day. That is the Patek 5205G. I think it was the end of the 360 tour because it was a very successful tour. So I bought myself a little present because I thought I was going to be home for a while. I always looked at Patek Philippe and I thought, it's too delicate, it's for bankers, and you can't wear that with a leather jacket. And then they brought out this model. It was their version of a sports watch, and I just thought with this particular face, it was the type of thing that you can wear with a leather jacket. It looks fine, and yet you can wear it in the evening as well. Moser watches were introduced to me probably about 6 or 7 years ago through a friend of a friend. They're a small Swiss company that make less than 1,000 watches a year. At that stage, they didn't do an automatic movement. You have to wind them every week. And when you wind them and move the hands, they have a very satisfying clunk. I like that. It feels like it'll go forever. Then I started to investigate and look back on them, and H. Moser had moved to become the Tsar's watchmaker at a very young age. He had been in Switzerland, and his father was a master watchmaker, and he went to St. Petersburg, went to the Tsar and started his company there. The Russian Revolution came and the company split, so one half of the company stayed making watches in St. Petersburg and the other half came back to Switzerland. So this is to commemorate that moment in the company's history, and they made 17 of this. And this one actually may be even more unique than the 17 because they, in the back, the bridge of this watch is also red, and I don't think that's common in all the 17.
And one of the things I like about Moser is they're sort of a punk watch brand in a way. They have done lots of stunts satirising the Swiss watch industry. They've got a sort of rebellious streak. Is that part of the appeal for you?
Yes, they're definitely a young, aggressive, competitive company that are really punching above their weight. They're great fans of what I do and what the band does, and I'm great fans of what they do. And we are indeed collaborating on a piece that may well be available early next year.
You were saying earlier that one of the things that really appeals to you about watches is the technical side of it. And does it tie into anything else that you collect?
You know, I think I've had the collector's bug, you know, right from the get-go. And one of my very early expressions of that was I did collect cars a little bit. So I've always had this mechanical thing. The aspect of electronics that I like in terms of, say, music and amplifiers and basses is I actually like the analog equipment. I don't really like it when it all gets digital, because if I can't move a knob backwards and forwards, it doesn't quite feel the same.